What are you doing on that island, Merc?
Oh,
Is he muted again?
probably.
What the fuck is going on, dude? Because I'm not even muting myself. Like, my phone is just, like, tweaking.
That's weird.
I've been talking this whole time, bro. I've been making peanut sounds going, oh!
Yeah.
Bro. I'm getting hella good goop, though.
Can you
I'm
just get your fucking ass over here already?
No, bruh.
I'm gonna.
You gotta give me a second. I'm getting jumped. You can go ahead and do it. I'll just do it myself.
I can't do it without you.
But I'm getting hella good armor.
So
Gunther Arcanus. Who the fuck is this guy?
himself, so we wouldn't know that he was getting good stuff. Alex, you heard that, right?
Yep, exactly.
Nah, dude, I got this sword. It's a two-handed sword. I might just have to become a two-handed weapon user because of how fucking cool this sword is.
What's the damage?
46.
Oh, that's it. That's unfortunate.
Dude, it's a green sword, but it looks cool. The stats aren't crazy. It adds 4 strength and that's it. But the sword looks sick.
Did we teach you how to share items to party chat?
Completely understand, Force. No rush whatsoever. Let me know when you're about 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from being ready. And I will go do my schmokerone, and then I should be good afterwards.
You gotta go up to the right.
Need assistance?
Merc.
Good comms.
Alrighty then.
Got you. Because there's
Bro,
like a
what am I
trap.
supposed to do
Okay.
here? Buy a
leveling's
Dark
definitely
Moon.
on, though.
Have either of you bought a Dark Moon ticket pouch from Silas?
Nope.
No.
Do either of you have that quest?
Yep.
Yes. I leveled up.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Glacial Fire. Blast the target with Glacial Fire, causing 140 to 178 Holy Frost damage. And an additional 21 Holy Frost damage over 7 seconds. While burning periodic heals and absorbs on the target are reduced by 30%. That's a fire skill. It's just not for my class. I can't reroll though, so I guess I'm taking it.
Oh, you're basically that close? Okay. Well.
Okay. I'm coming, Vix. Bless you.
Alright, I'm gonna go do that then, Force.
Charge.
Fuck up my movement. Good shot. Uh-oh.
What is it?
A neophyte? What is that? Come here, bitch. Oh, they're actually kind of strong.
I've sent you some heartbreaking edits.
Quit running away. I can't go ride this lady.
Of course, of course. Absolutely. I got you. All right. Force, so how are we doing this? What are we exactly doing?
Let me intro my stream real quick.
Yes.
Oh, and start recording. All right.
Definitely.
Welcome to the stream. Anybody who's in stream, I don't know if anybody even is. One person. Sweet. Today, pretty simple topic. I'm just gonna try and relay as much of my knowledge on OBS and what I've learned over the past few months. I've been helping a couple of people with different things with PCs, OBS, streaming tools, and it felt kind of pertinent to get that information out to a wider audience. And so that's kind of the goal for today. I've got my good friend Alex here. He's live on Twitch as well. And I'm going to be kind of going over a new tool that I discovered that's really, really useful for streaming. And I'm going to kind of tutorial that both to you as the audience and to Alex as he's live here. And then anybody who wants to join in can kind of follow along and kind of get some tips out of this, see if there's anything that you've missed in setting up your OBS. If you're new to streaming, you can follow along and kind of get a jump start into getting settings set up, OBS set up, and kind of launch your way forward. With that, Alex, I don't know if you want to. There's kind of two ways that we can go about this, which is you can tune in to my live on Twitch, and
I am, my friend.
And we can either stick in VC, but there'll be a delay between my voice and what you see on stream, obviously.
You're right.
Or if you don't want that delay, you can hop out of VC. I don't care either way. And just follow along on your live if you want to. But I figured it'd be easier, at least for the first part, with this tool that I was talking about. That way, if you have any questions, you can kind of pop them over to me, and we can discuss that.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and transition over to my desktop. Oh. And we've got OBS pulled up. I'm gonna maybe not have that on the left there. That's even worse. Maybe I'll talk.
Oh, hello. Oh, man. That's beautiful.
All right. Welcome to my OBS. I do realize something. Somebody's going to call me out on it. I don't care whoever's in the chat. Oh, I do need to throw that I'm live in the promotions channel. But
there we go. Now I can see everyone's chat. Oh, sounds good, Mystery Man. I appreciate you, bro. And 5 out of 10 songs for the album is sick, bro. Oh, yeah. I'm definitely excited to see what happens with that.
all right. I realize right now in post I'm going to edit it for the YouTube video, but I realize that I'm logged in on my personal account on Windows, so I am going to dox myself in this stream. First and last name will get leaked, but I'm going to accept those consequences just because it's basically unavoidable in the way that I have to show some settings. And I did not have time to completely sign out of every Microsoft variant on my entire PC and log in with my alternate, which is my forceful timing stuff. But so names will be leaked, and that's okay for who's watching. For the YouTube video, though, I will, black bar those areas because I'm not going to leak myself to the entire internet permanently.
Right, yeah, for the YouTube and everything else, you can definitely blur and do take out what you need. All right, Mystery Man, sorry to interrupt you. Mystery Man, have a good night at work, my friend. I might catch you. I might be able to talk to you after I get off, or after you get off. We'll see how late I'm awake. Wow, that was difficult to say.
All right, so Mr. Alex, are you out? Redeem the hydrate, man. All right, you got it. Here, we'll do that.
Yeah, cheers, my friend.
Oh yeah, cheers. I've got yours up over here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll go back to desktop here. All right, so we've got OBS up. I'm gonna skip the basics. We're gonna go straight into what I can kind of show you right now, Alex. There's a system, piece of software that is actually made by Elgato. It works for anybody. You don't have to have any other products, but it's called Wavelink. This is a pretty sick piece of software. So I am going to pull my hey, there you are.
Hello.
So follow along. We're going to go to elgato.com. You'll be going to the download section here, and it's right there, Wavelink right there. But it's also right here. So Wavelink 3.0.1, and hit the download. It's going to ask you to sign up. Don't, because you can hit that continue with download right there. You don't need to sign up for Jack. All right. So with Wavelink, what it looks like, not by default, but what it looks like is it looks like this, which is a pretty cool piece of software. And what this does is it allows you to split all of your audio channels to only be displayed exactly where you want to display them. Give me a second here. I'm going to go ahead and throw... Hey, that's me.
Hello.
Perfect. Good enough. Okay. So we've got the Elgato Wavelink. This is what it looks like once it installs. It does need some system level permissions, which is fine. Elgato is a very trusted source. I would trust myself with this, so go ahead and give it some that system level, because it needs access to your root level for audio. When you first open it, you're only going to see this top line here, your system audio, and then these three here. What's really cool about this is these are your different mixes. You can whatever you want, the mixes that you do want.
Oh, you're cutting in and out.
Probably because I was playing with adding mixes. You can add as many mixes that you want. And what these are output sources. So as you can see, I have 3 output sources and 4 input sources. System level, which is going to be basically your desktop audio. Everything that plays through your computer is your system level. I've got my microphone, which is actually going through NVIDIA Broadcast, but this is where you would add your own microphone, whatever microphone you have. And then you can add any other source, Discord being one of them. So right now, Alex, you can see from Discord, I'm hearing it in my ears. Stream is hearing it because this is my output source for Stream. But I could, if I wanted to, add you in to yourself. So if you speak right now, you're going to get a feedback loop on Discord.
Hello. Yep.
So you can feed any audio source into any output source and keep certain things hidden.
Perfect.
So if you want to listen to your Spotify, you can throw Google Chrome in right here, add it as a source only for your personal output, which will be whatever
That's
speakers
awesome.
you're using, and then listen to your Spotify. Stream will not hear it. Discord will not hear it, but you could even make it play over your Discord if you wanted to, but not stream. So it's a very useful tool. These channels can be any audio source on your entire system level. So whatever applications you have installed, games, apps, just .exe programs, any of those can be an output source. So if you have a soundboard, you can add your soundboard here and have your soundboard only play to chat and stream, so you don't hear your own sounds that you're playing if you don't want to. You can have the soundboard only play to Discord and not play over stream if they're copywritten sounds. So it gives you a finer tuned control over what sounds are played where and how your audience can hear those sounds. So I recommend it, Alex. I recommend it for budding streamers, anybody watching. It's a pretty good tool. And then if you, I would also make sure your headphones or speakers that you want to hear everything out of up here in the corner. So there's that tool. Wavelink is pretty cool. Just keep in mind, when you're editing that audio, you're going to have to change your settings around in other things like Discord. So for voice, for your microphone, you want to put in the chat mix. That way everything else is not coming through your microphone, only what you want inside your chat mix here. And then for your speaker, you want your output to go to the Discord output, which is here. That way, any sounds that Discord makes gets routed through this channel, and you can choose where that goes to. So you'll want to change your settings around in some of their applications. This also applies to OBS. So down here, you'll no longer want desktop audio to be playing through OBS if you ever did. You'll want to switch your mic aux in the properties to the stream mix for Elgato. Or you can create, a whole new source channel here and make it that the Elgato wavelink. So now all my audio is only routing in OBS through here in one single throughput.
Sweet. And you said have this be what I want to be my main. Sweet. I like it. What's up, Frankie? How you doing, bro? Stream tips if you're interested, my man.
All right.
We are doing the stream tips. Well, I guess it's yes, sir. It's Mr. Force's stream tips.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so I'm going to move on to some basic stuff. Alex, if you want to hop away, this is all going to be stuff you really kind of know. That's up to you, or if you want to stick around. I don't care either way. If anybody's still interested in having more tips for OBS, I recommend coming over to my stream. I don't want to try and snipe you away from you, though, Alex, so...
No, definitely, it's okay. Anyone that is trying to learn, definitely go over there. Frankie asks, how do you do intro clips?
Intro clips. So, all right. Great question, Frankie. We can go over intro clips. So right here, and your interface is going to look a little bit different when you first open OBS. These parts down here are called your docks. This is different controls over OBS and what you do in OBS. This is your main way to control that. You can add and subtract docks in this menu right here. So you'll see that I've got the scenes dock right here. If I don't want to see that anymore, I can make it go away. And there it is again. These scenes can be grabbed and popped out. You can move them around your desktop in any way you want. If you have 2 or 3 monitors like I do, you can move them out of the monitor and they can kind of move around and fit in wherever you want them to. Scenes are important, so I'm going to go through setting up a scene and then using that scene for an intro clip. Specifically for intro clips, you would probably want to have your own scene dedicated for that. So if we add a new scene, we'll call it intro clips. And let's say you want your intro clip to just be, if you want it to just be your face, you could add your camera to it. So you go down to sources here, you add a new source, and for cameras, it's a video capture device. You can name it whatever you want, such as camera. And then it'll ask you what device that you want to use. So I use a webcam eMeet C980 Pro. That's the webcam I use. It's not showing video right now because it's being routed through a different program. But you would add that in, hit OK, and that would give you camera tools. This right here, this black screen here is your canvas. So this is what Stream is going to see, what recordings are going to see. And you can move things around on a canvas. Usually it snaps to your canvas. You can move things, edit things however you want them to. There are different properties you can transform. You can rotate it so I'm sideways. You can do a bunch of stuff. So you can edit things that way. But if you want your intro clip to just be you, here's you, you're talking, and then this background you can kind of edit out if you want to put in some B-roll footage that you already have, anything that you've recorded. That's an option too. You would add that as a source for just media, and then you would pick what media on your desktop is playing behind you. And you would add that to your canvas here.
On Stream, we just see you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't actually add anything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't have a clip to put behind me, so
That's valid.
So that's all an option. Oh, you just see me. I see what you mean.
Yeah, we can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, should have been in studio mode. That's okay. To desktop. So here's the intro clips. This is what I was talking about. So adding your adding a scene here, intro clips, add a source here, video capture device, add any camera that you have. If you create a new, you'll use your HD webcam, whatever webcam you have, and that'll add in your source here. Move it around on your canvas, resize things. There's your camera in. I put mine top right corner. So this is what you're seeing, but this is what would be seeing if I transition out here. And then from here, down here in sources, you can add your source, such as your desktop if you want to do desktop, or you can use your game capture here for a specific game, or if you want to do media. like I was saying, you can browse your local files if you have any recordings happening, any B-roll footage, things like that for an intro clip, and record it all together. So once you have your scene set up, say I've got that intro clip set up, maybe I've got some B-roll footage going behind me. Down in the bottom right corner for me, wherever this controls module is on your OBS, you can start recording. This will be a button that says start recording. Now, there are a couple settings that I want to go over that are important to change around for recording. So this is part of what I wanted to talk about tonight anyway. By default, sorry, I got to get my pen out. By default, your recording settings are not set up in a very good way. So if you go File, up here in the left corner, you go to Settings, and you go to Output. Your streaming is usually set up not in advanced, so you want to go to Output mode, change it to Advanced. Your stream by default is going to be on a constant bitrate at, I think, 10,000, maybe 6,000 kilobits per second. I recommend cranking that up depending on your internet connection. This is the quality of the video that goes out to your stream. So right now I've set mine at constant bitrate at 16,000 kilobits per second, which is a bit overkill, but I want to grab that amount of output and kind of have that as a backup. That's kind of like a safety net having it that high, because I have fiber internet, and so I can kind of have it that high. I recommend being at around 10,000 kilobits per second, which is the default for this, which is okay. The rest of these I wouldn't really mess with, because they're going to significantly alter how much bandwidth you're using in your internet at home. So this constant bitrate 16,000, and you get a relatively crisp stream, or 16,000 is a very high quality, a lot of information going out at once. 10,000 is still going to be very crisp. 1080p, 1440p is pretty good at 10,000. Go down to 6,000 if you're only streaming in 1080p at about 60 frames per second, and if you have slower internet connection, that's going to be where you want to be at about 6,000. You want to be using whatever graphics card that you have as your video encoder. Your CPU cannot roster video very well. That's what your GPU is for. So make sure your video encoder is whatever brand of graphics card that you're using. I use an NVIDIA 4070 Super. I know Alex, you use an AMD card, and so you want to use your AMD encoder here if you're using an AMD card. Intel also makes the ARC cards, and so you can use ARC for that. For recording, it's a little bit different. By default, this encoder is going to say use same encoder as streaming. You do not want to do that for recording. That constant bitrate looks different in recording than it does for streaming. And so when I first started recording things, if we go to my YouTube and we go to my shorts, my quality was pretty low, and you can see that, and you see how the low quality here, this shows that I can, 720p is the highest quality that I can put it in. So I was recording in really, really low quality. I didn't know, because I didn't know these settings at first. So you can see how fuzzy everything is in this kind of a clip. You don't want that. So you want to make sure you change this away from your stream encoder to your NVIDIA encoder, AMD encoder, or Intel encoder. I use MKV for the recording format because it's widely accepted in a lot of different formats, YouTube, Twitch, clips, TikTok. They can all accept MKVs. There's also the option of doing MP4, which is pretty widely accepted as well. MP4 has a little bit of data loss when it converts out. But it's really not much, but I'm a nerd, so I like less loss in my video files, so I use NKV. These are all other options when it comes to recording. I'm recording in 3440 by 1440p. You'll see that my monitor here is not 1080p or 1440p standard. I have an ultra wide monitor, so it's 21 by 9 rather than 16 by 9. I split my recordings up, as you saw. If I open up my stuff here, my OBS recordings are split in 30-minute intervals, and that makes it easier to kind of understand where things are. You do not have to do this. You can make your stream one long 4-hour recording if you want to. That's up to you. When it comes down to encoder settings, this is where it's going to say a couple of different things. Again, you need to be in the advanced output mode, and you want to likely use, you can use other things. Lossless is insane because it's going to take every single pixel that it records and output it directly as it records it. Very, very large files. I use constant QP because it's quantized and it's going to fill in those soft edges and record a much, much more crisp. The lower this number, the higher quality, but also the larger the file sizes. 22 is considered, between 20 and 23 is considered the sweet spot between high quality and medium file size. Right now, I can, each of my streams, which are 3 to 4 hours long, take up about 150 gigs of space on my hard drive, which is large. It's a lot of space. Maybe 100 gigs. That's probably an exaggeration. But those are large files because they're really high quality. So if we look at any of the recordings I make now, which I haven't posted any since then, but if we look at this recording, which is from this session alone, oh, that was like 1 second long. Will it let me play what I'm recording right now? It will. Obviously, my camera is not the highest quality here. We'll mute that. Oh, it won't let me. That's all right, because it's currently recording. But anyway, the quality is much higher. I do a high quality pass, but I recommend between 20 and 23. If you want decent quality, but lower file sizes, I'd go up to 26. And then really not change any of this. It's default at high quality. It's default at single pass. Keep the profile at main and slow for good quality. That's all good. This is really important because I was recording only in 720p with really choppy, crappy output, and it was problematic when I was trying to post clips and such. All right. So that's scenes and sources. I have different scenes. This is my game with just my face. This has different variables. And then the next piece of software I highly recommend using is Stream Elements. This is a service that's free to use. You would use this. You go to the website, you sign up for free. You can get a add-on for OBS that adds these tools here. And this allows things like this followers goal. This is a browser source that allows me to have this slider bar for how many followers I have currently on Twitch. And it has many different elements and effects that you can add. These are the 4 that I'm currently using. I've got a sub goal, followers goal. I have a different kind of sub goal. And then I have notifications for follows, subscriptions, bit tips, things like that. And that's another tool that will probably need a separate tutorial, but it is something that I feel is pretty much necessary when you get into streaming. If you're going to stream a little bit more than just here or there once a month or so, I recommend having Stream Elements. This allows you to add sounds to your stream. It allows you to add animations. It allows you to add overlays. If you look at Mr. Alex here, which I'm sure he doesn't mind me using him as a source here, but you can see this overlay he's got around his camera, behind his display, all of his latest count type stuff, and his chat here. Overlays are our cool tool. We've got a buddy Jeps who's starting to develop these custom, which is pretty cool. But Stream Elements is the way that you can accomplish this. Stream Elements is also a way you can accomplish multi-streaming. Multi-streaming is streaming to multiple platforms at a single time. Typically, OBS works with Twitch or YouTube, not at the same time. Stream Elements allows you to do multiple at the same time. I think like nearly an unlimited amount of sources. That's what this panel is down here. So currently my main is OBS through Twitch. Here's it showing that I'm streaming on Twitch, and here's it showing that I'm streaming on YouTube currently right now. You can link up TikTok. You can link up other services as well, X, Kick, and any custom. If you have a website that you want to host your stream on, you can do custom RTMP servers, outputs that way, which are pretty cool. So Stream Elements is a pretty important thing. You'll notice that I've got the two panes here. I wanted to explain that earlier. What this is Studio Mode, which is a useful tool if you don't have something like a Stream Deck, which I'll show the benefits of that here in a moment. Studio Mode is great because right now what the program is showing is this window right here. This canvas is what is being streamed and recorded currently. This canvas over here is what you can currently edit and get ready to transition to what's streaming. So I have my desktop being streamed here. I've got my, face in the corner. That's all good to go. And then if I want to transition to only my camera, I can edit this over here, move things around. I can scale things and edit this entire canvas, adding different things. I can turn on my GrabTap sponsorship over here, turn on my sub goal over here, add a different microphone. I don't have that one anymore. That's why it's hidden. I'm actually gonna go ahead and remove that. Look at that. So you can add, change, and edit these elements over here. And then once you've got that ready, then you hit the transition button. And now that's what's recording and streaming. And we'll transition back here. You can turn that on. That's in your controls here. So if I turn off studio mode, you're just going to see the single pane of what's actively being recorded right now. So if I click a different scene, that's the only thing that's going to be recording. You can't see my desktop anymore. It's just the camera only. So go back to desktop here. So the benefit of not using studio mode is that you have a larger canvas to look at. And if you have all of your scenes set up and you know they're all functioning exactly how you want them to, you can have hotkeys. There are virtual stream decks that you can use. Corsair just made a new display that's long and thin, and it kind of works as a touchscreen stream deck. Elgato makes some very fabulous stream decks. They're a bit on the pricier side, though. I have a product from a company called VSD that is a stream deck. Let's see if my cable's long enough to show camera. I don't think it is. Yeah, no, it's not. Anyway, I have a stream deck. What it looks like, I'll pull it up on a browser here. So a stream deck looks like this. It's got a series of buttons, and these buttons can be programmed to do a bunch of different controls. Currently on my stream deck, I have most of my controls that are displayed right now, my different scenes. So you see I've got camera only is here. So you've got camera only, so I had to go back into studio mode. So you got camera only. You got my game with no face. So if I wanted to capture a game, I can, capture different windows through this. This is a game capture. you can go about that way. So I've got these set up, and then once I have them set up exactly how I want them to, so I have my stream starting splash screen here. I've got my Be Right Back splash screen here. I've got a scene for recording in VR, which is different here. So once you have these set up and you're ready to use them, with the touch of a button on the Stream Deck, you can instantly transition between these. So I will go ahead and turn off studio mode, and you'll see that with just a single press of the button, I can transition to my face, to my tutorial, not tutorial, my beginning of the stream, whatever game I'm playing plus my face, my Be Right Back display. So that's useful, and then you wouldn't have to have studio mode on. But I enjoy studio mode, that way I don't make the mistake that I made earlier in the stream, which is having just my face displayed like this and then trying to talk about my desktop, which is not actually visually there. So that's studio mode. It's really nice. You can change the way it you can change the way that it's going to transition. You can fade, which is nice. So there's fading. You can fade it out to black. You can manually fade this way. It's a great tool. I recommend using it until you're confident enough to have your scenes already laid out and you're not going to make the same mistake that I just made. You can also make collections of scenes. So you've got all of these scenes that are all related to recording gameplay. All of these scenes, for the most part, are streaming. But you'll see I have VR recording as one of my scenes, which doesn't really fit in with streaming because that's a recording. What I could have done is gone up to scene collections instead, made a new scene collection, and then all of these would be gone, and I would just have new selections of scenes based on recording things rather than streaming. That's a good way to organize what you're doing. Let's see, what else? Oh, I did want to, I'm going to go over some really quick things that you can do to make sure your PC is kind of running the best that it can. OBS does take up a decent amount of resources. You can see down here, my output internet-wise is at about 6,000 kilobits per second currently. I've been recording for about an hour, or recording for about 38 minutes, but I've been live for an hour. It's using low CPU resources. In the bottom right here, if you are ever recording and it's a little bit too much for your system, because recording, streaming, and playing a game is pretty hefty on your system, then it'll tell you that your encoder is overloaded. It's going to drop that bitrate down. Your quality of your recording and stream is going to lower, but it'll try its best not to end the stream and completely, overheat your system, draw too much power, things like that. So it's going to limit itself. If you ever see that, I recommend either lowering your graphics settings in the game that you're playing or going to your stream settings, raising this number so that it's not so much, not so bad when you're recording and streaming, or lowering your bit rate a little bit for that stream to lower the amount of encoding that it's doing at a time. You can also lower you go to your settings, you can change your canvas right here. You would enable rescaling and change your canvas to 1080p or a little bit lower than what your monitor might be, so that you're streaming only in 1080p even though you have a 1440p monitor, 1080p if you have a 4K monitor. That way it's a little bit less intensive on your system to stream. And if it's still in 1080p, you're still at an HD level for both recording and streaming, and people aren't really going to care that much. So let's go over a couple system things. Give me just 1 second because I have to remember. I'm blanking on one of the things I have it written down. All right, so here's the part where I kind of sort of dox myself, but that's okay. You're gonna head to your settings. By default, Windows records most of the games that you play, and you don't want that. So you're gonna go to the gaming tab, which is on your main system settings on the left side. You want to go to your game bar. You want to turn off a lot of the game bar features. Unfortunately, you have to do some pretty deep system level stuff to actually get rid of game bar. I can make a separate tutorial on how to do that later. I don't have it disabled currently, but you can. Go back to gaming. You want to go to captures. And you want to turn off record what happened. If you're going to be recording in OBS, if you're going to be streaming in OBS, you already have the ability to record and have VODs and things like that. So turn off record what happened. What that's doing is Windows itself is recording your game or your screen pretty much at all times. And that just eats system resources. So you want to make sure that that's off. So that's easy fix number 1. But further than that, here's this semi-advanced tooltip here. If you do Windows R, which is your run resource, and you type in regedit, you're going to get into your registry. I know this looks scary, but it's not. If you know what you're doing, it's not. So you go to HKey current user, which is your user right now. You're going to go down to software. If I remember, hold on. Is it software? Yeah, it's software. You're going to go to Microsoft. Oh, man. There's a lot here, I know. Go to Microsoft. You go to Game Bar. Okay, in here. Let's see, I wrote it down. I don't have. Sweet. All right, it's not here, which is good. So in Game Bar, there's often a file type that's called Allow Auto Game Mode, which is essentially, can I record in the background? Turning it off in your settings typically does not actually turn it off at all. And you would set that value from 1 to 0. So you would just double click it and you change that value data from 1 to 0, which actually turns it off on the system level. Looks like, unfortunately, Game Bar API has now fragmented itself through Windows. So unfortunately, if you do that, if you change that file type, which is allow auto game mode, every time your system updates a major Windows update, so none of the optional updates, just the one where it yells at you down in the corner, you've got a system update. If it updates, it usually resets that for you, which is very annoying. And you'll have to kind of redo it. But that's the regedit for Game Bar. There's another pretty simple settings tool that you can do that might help some of your system resources, which is going to Windows Update. And you want to go down to your advanced options. and you want to go to delivery optimization and turn that off. What that does is it allows, especially if you have this clicked, it allows users, like say a big Windows update, Windows 11 update comes out, and it starts getting pushed to users' PCs. People who have it downloaded already, who may be in your local area generally, like the same town you live in, maybe, it will allow Windows to send those files directly from somebody's PC in the same town as you, essentially directly to your desktop in a safe way. It's not necessarily harmful, but it might increase your download speeds. It might make the update go faster. But what that does is it takes up a ton of your resources in the background, unfortunately. Not a ton, but it can take a chunk of them. I recommend just turning this off. If you have halfway decent internet, if you're looking to stream, you should already. I would just turn this off and let it download directly from the Microsoft servers, and that's gonna give you just a little bit of boost on your system resources at all times. If you look at my system resources while streaming and recording, obviously my GPU is going to be, my encode is going to be running pretty heavily at all times. I have it set up so that it's really kind of teetering on the edge while I'm recording and streaming. You can fine tune yours to get to this point as well. I recommend actually going a little bit lower than that 90%. For 3D, the only 3D it's actually rendering right now is what's being recorded, but this still leaves a decent amount for whatever game you're playing. I can play most games on medium or high while streaming and recording on a 4070 Super. But you'll notice that OBS doesn't use all of my memory. I have 32 gigs, so you still have plenty. You still have plenty of CPU for games, even though you're running OBS, streaming and recording all at the same time. Keep in mind, I also have a couple Chrome tabs open. I have Alex's stream pulled up, which uses GPU systems. So these are all things that are going to be using. You can look at my Ethernet usage, and it's going to be crazy all the time, just because of how much output and input streaming causes. So yeah, that's another small time tip, just to kind of squeeze out the most that you can out of your PC. I know that not everybody around me has a 4070 Super. I know a lot of people actually who are still using the 30 series cards, which are great cards, but they just have a little bit less resources. So you really want to be able to squeeze out the most you can out of those GPUs and whatever system resources that you have. There are a lot more optimizations that I can make on my PC that I generally have just been too lazy to do, but there's more out there, and I might make for future videos on those as well. I think that's, for the most part, what I've got for now. I think what I might do on stream and for recording now is actually start at base layer, and actually basically start over, but for recording purposes, and just go over scenes and sources directly one more time, but in a little bit more coherent way. That's basically nicer for recording. But I am going to take a short break and come back to that. Alex, I don't think you'll need to stick around in VC at this point anymore if you don't want to, but I will be back.
Sounds good, my friend. I appreciate you and the tips. I was doing some stuff on the top screen while I was gaming at the bottom, taking some breaks, so I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me.